Welcome to the Fundraising Elevator, where we're all headed up. This podcast is a production of ElevateNonprofit.com, an online learning platform for fundraising event professionals. We're coming to you today from the studios of the AV department. Please welcome our hosts, Kristin Steele and Samantha Swaim.
Well, hi, Kristin.
Hi, Sam. What's going on?
I'm so glad to be here. Well, I think really the first thing we need to do is introduce the Fundraising Elevator, this crazy idea we've come up with, so that our listeners understand a little bit about what we're doing here and a little bit about us.
Perfect.
All right.
And maybe not so crazy.
Maybe not so crazy. Well, the Fundraising Elevator, our hope is that together we can all head up. So I just wanted to ask you a little bit, could you introduce us to the idea? What are we doing here? What is this wild ride we're on?
So we realize we get to talk to a bunch of amazing people all the time and ideate all the time about fundraising, specifically fundraising events, ideas around gathering, ideas about neuroscience, ideas, all these things. And we were like, wait a minute, why are we the only ones who get to benefit from all these amazing people and voices? So this community, the nonprofit community and the layers that ripple out from there that they impact, that they're influenced by, there's so much great inspirational information for how to do this work smarter, not harder. And we thought, as conveners, what if we convened some of these voices and these people and got into dialogue about their big ideas and let them share their wisdom with the world?
I love it. Well, we're going to talk to a lot of incredible people, but let's first talk a little bit about us so people get to know us. So I'm Sam.
I'm Kristin.
And we are with Swaim Strategies. For over 20 years, we have been producing fundraising events. Our specialty is in the nonprofit gathering, helping nonprofits really understand how to tell their story, how to apply strategy, how to really impact their fundraising. And in that work, we have made many shifts, evolved many times to meet the needs of the current day. And we're sitting in this interesting moment right now where I see the evolution of gathering as just really being an important consideration in our nonprofit sector of how we bring donors together, how we connect to donors. So our hope is that we can kind of bring everyone along on this journey of learning together, and that we can bring some of our collective wisdom of 20 years to the table and then meet lots of other great people doing good things and invite other people to join us, including our listeners, so that all of our podcast listeners, if you have some wisdom to share, we want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
We want to know how you're gathering people. We want to know how you're impacting your nonprofit. We want to be able to learn and grow and share together. We believe strongly that all boats rise together, which is why we have named the podcast the Fundraising Elevator, because we all want to head up together. So I know that we're really focused right now. It's our first episode. We're focused a little bit on how do we do this thing. We've never done this before.
Yes,
We do
yes.
a lot of speaking and a lot of teaching, but never in a podcast format. And we've been talking a lot about hosting.
Yeah. So when we think about putting an event together, we always sort of zoom in on who's your MC, right? Who's playing that role of host? And sort of during the pandemic, we've really seen some fascinating evolutions of hosting and what that can look like. But it's also really brought it to the attention of the fact that a host can really make and break experiences.
Yeah.
And so we've really been thinking about Priya Parker, of course, with focus on hosting. What can that look like?
Well, let's pause for a second. For folks who don't know Priya Parker's work,
Absolutely.
Priya Parker wrote The Art of Gathering, and one of her sort of key tenets of how to host a good gathering is don't be a lazy host. So we are inspired by Priya and her work. And so hosting, I think, has become an element that we've been thinking a lot about, especially as we enter into this world of hosting a podcast.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
Tell me about a time you've seen a host that's really made an experience.
Absolutely. So Sam and I actually got the amazing opportunity.
We did,
I know. To go see Joni Mitchell play at the Gorge Amphitheater. Huge, huge opportunity in and of itself. But what was so amazing about that was actually the generous hosting that happened at that event and what we saw, and it transformed the whole experience. So it was a 2-night concert for us. Right. The first night was Brandi Carlile. So good. And then Brandi Carlile basically hosted the second night Joni Jam. And what that looked like was we all drove to the Gorge Amphitheater. For those not in the Pacific Northwest, it is the most amazing amphitheater. It sits along the river, but it is really out in the middle of space, right? Yes. You have to make a very concerted effort to get there. So you have patrons, attendees who have gone on a journey to get there. They've shed a lot of layers to get there. They are living in a very constructed and different space, not unlike an event you make. Yeah. And so people are ripe and ready to have an experience. And they leaned right into that. So the first night show, Brandi Carlile started putting the threads out of what the experience of the Joni Jam the next night was going to be. Started planting the seeds so that we knew how to take in what we were going to see. On her concert night, that first night, she started bringing out some of the players that we were going to see in the second night, to see them, to understand them, to know who they were as musicians, so that when they came up on the second night in the Joni Jam, we would have that context for them. She also laid out how we were going to take it in. She said, the Joni Jam is going to be unlike anything you've ever seen. It is not going to be this wall of 30 superstar musicians standing up here doing our thing. We are going to recreate Joni Mitchell's living room on stage, and you are literally going to come into the process we have been doing monthly for years. And that's exactly what happened. But we were teed up to understand it. Can you imagine if Joni Jam started and like all these musicians were just sitting on couches on the stage and you were kind of left wondering, what's happening? What's going on? But you just leaned into this experience. And she explained it in a beautiful way. She said, it's like you're going to look into a snow globe. Mm-hmm. And in the heart of the snow globe is a cabin. And you're going to be able to look into that cabin, into that living room, and you're going to see this jam session happening. And all of a sudden, we as audience knew where we sat in relationship to the action, what we were looking at, and how to take it in so that we could really be present for the whole thing. And then throughout the entire Joni Jam, she was the host. Yeah. She passed off between musicians. She connected the thread. She got Joni telling stories. When Joni maybe got too long on a story, she brought things back. She connected it to the music. She was the most generous. When someone stepped forward, she stepped back. She helped create this whole alchemy and experience that only enhanced what we were doing. It was one of the most amazing hosting pieces I'd been a part of.
I thought it was pretty magical to watch, just her skill in how she navigated. But the thing that really resonated for me as we're preparing to host a podcast was her innate ability to know how to move through space and bring the audience along. I felt like she was holding my hand and walking me through what's next, what's to come, how to participate.
Me having an individual experience with 30,000 of my closest friends. It felt so intimate. It was amazing.
It was. And it just felt like it was connected and it was a community because of the work she was doing as a host.
Yeah.
Well, I want to take a pause. We have some messages from some of our partners that I want to make sure that we have time to share.
Great.
And then I want to come back and I want to talk a little bit about some hosting that's inspired me.
Love it.
At Elevate, we believe in bringing people together. Our online learning platform for fundraising events has webinars, workshops, downloadable tools, and more designed to save you time and stress when planning your next event. We're getting nonprofit, development, and event planning professionals the tools and ideas they need to create events that inspire donors and raise more money. So join us at elevatenonprofit.com. The link is also in our show notes. The Fundraising Elevator is recorded at the AV department in Portland, Oregon. For years, they've been our trusted partner, delivering exceptional audio-visual production and videography for nonprofits. In 2020, they transformed into a dynamic live streaming studio, producing more than 900 virtual and hybrid events. Now, we embark on an exciting journey together to bring you this podcast. Seeking the best in live events, video production, and live streaming? We proudly recommend our friends at the AV department. Link in the episode description. Loving the fundraising elevator, but wondering how you can talk to Sam and Kristin? Well, now's your chance to do it. Book one-on-one consulting time with Swaim Strategies experts Sam, Kristin, and Mary, and get all your event questions answered. Our team has you covered on strategic planning, fundraising strategy, storytelling, data tools, and registration support. Get the tools and the help you need to make the most impact at your fundraising event. Book at elevatenonprofit.com. The link is also in our show notes.
Well, Kristin, we've been talking about this idea of hosting, this wild idea of hosting a podcast.
I know.
I'm so excited to launch this, and I hope folks will join us and go on the journey with us. But I've been really inspired as I've been starting to think about this idea of host by the book that Will Guidara wrote. I don't know if you know Will Guidara's work, but Will Guidara is in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
So like hosting and hospitality, right? And his work, he has worked in many restaurants, but 11 Madison Park is a Michelin star, 5-star, all the star New York restaurant that a lot of people might know of. And it was known for the experience of coming in to have an incredible meal, but beyond the meal, they were working hard to create an experience for folks. So he wrote this book, Unreasonable Hospitality, that is really this idea of listening. And it was just a magical inspiration for me to think about how careful listening is so important in what we do in donor stewardship and donor cultivation. So I highly recommend pick it up, take a read. It's, I think, a great tool for any nonprofit fundraiser because it inspires both this idea of how to be in relationship to donors and how to listen to donors. In his case, it was his customers, but also then how to take action on what you're listening to. And he had these incredible stories of caretaking guests and helping to create an experience. One of the ones that moved me the most that I was just so inspired about is that there was a couple sitting and having dinner, and they were negotiating and navigating the merits of the tooth fairy and whether or not the tooth fairy should exist in their home. And as they were having this debate, every time the waiter came by and set down a plate or adjusted the napkin or refilled the water glass, they were sliding a quarter underneath the plate or under the edge of the plate or under the napkin to just say, we hear you and we're participating and we're creating an experience for you. And that idea of just caretaking each other. And I think it's so important. And I really want to make sure as we develop this podcast that we're thinking about how do we caretake each other in the nonprofit sector? How do we caretake our donors? How do we take care of ourselves?
Well, and I think the thing that's so great about that sort of conceptually what we're talking about and Will's choice of the word unreasonable.
Yeah.
It's actually not unreasonable.
Right.
What we're talking about is not easy, but simple tools, right?
Right.
So it's listening. It's a quarter under a plate,
Right.
right? Like that's in the scale of things I have to go out and procure. It's minor. Brandy Carlisle just simply bringing people into the experience so that we're all on the same wave together.
Yeah.
You know, it's thinking about those experiences, and I just want to honor nonprofit sector is really challenging sometimes. The work is hard. What you do is amazing. There's a lot on the line. And I think sometimes when we keep adding to the pot of you gotta, people are just like, steam starts coming out their head. How do I do all of this? And so our hope is to boil down into some simple, actionable tools that you can, even if you act on them once a week or once a month or integrate them into how you're thinking and start weaving them in, you'll start to see that impact and you'll start to feel that change.
Well, we're going to kick off with a couple of episodes where we talk to each other.
I know.
So that our audience can get to know us a
Yep.
little bit and get to know our philosophies and get to know events. But with that in mind, I was hoping that you could share with everyone this crazy, fun journey of getting on the fundraising elevator. This idea that we're going to ask every host to join us on the fundraising elevator.
Yep. The fundraising elevator, where we're all headed up, right? And so the idea is that we wanted to bring a couple questions to the table for everyone we talk to so that we can kind of see how people are bouncing off of the same ideas. So we're all going to get in the elevator together. And first, we're going to go up to the penthouse and we're going to ask people to share an event they've been to that was amazing and why it was amazing for them.
Because the party is in the penthouse.
Because the party is in the penthouse. But also, everybody's party is different.
Right.
And what resonates with them is different, as with your donors. And so we're going to start to create sort of a toolbox of all these different ideas and what things can look like. And then we're going to get back in the elevator and we're going to take everybody down to the basement, which sounds creepy, but that's where all the tools are. Right. And we're going to ask everybody to share a tool that they think everybody in this sector needs that would be helpful. So we're going to kind of have people bounce off of both of those floors in the elevator and travel with us between them.
Great. Well, I hope that everyone will join us. I hope that folks will follow along. I know we all have very busy lives and we'll tap in and out, but we don't want you to miss an episode. So if you want to join us in the fundraising elevator, thumbs up, like, follow. We want to make sure that you're joining us. Comment. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have some wisdom or inspiration to share, we invite you to join us. We hope that you'll join us on this journey, and welcome to the fundraising elevator.
Welcome, welcome. We're glad you're here.
The Fundraising Elevator is produced in partnership with Swaim Strategies at the studios of the AV Department. The program is produced by April Clark and directed by Steve Osborne, with audio engineering and original music by Dwayne Anderson and Heidi Christensen. Video production by Chris Peterson, Whitney Gomes, and Nathan Bouquet. Video editing by Steve Osborne. Graphic design by Pendulum Creative Group, and support from Sophia Keller, John Lyles, and Andy Dowsett.